to have you all be a part of this event. We feel it's important to bring you all the updates on the areas that we serve. And today you're going to hear from 3 of our leaders from Miami Township, the City of Loveland, and Symmes Township. A little bit of housekeeping before we get started. We are live from Hamilton County Cooperative. So we're very grateful for them allowing us to use their facility. It has great lighting, and they do great work in the community. So thank you to Vince Coluca, who sits on our board of directors, for allowing us to be here. My name's Cece Collins. I'm the president of the Little Miami River Chamber Alliance. And again, we are thrilled to have you. And we are so grateful to our sponsors for this event, Abode Advantage and 365 Wealth Management. So thank you to all of them for being a part of this. We're going to have both the sponsors up, and then we'll also have the agenda. And we'll get through this probably in about an hour and 15 minutes. So if you want to sit back and relax, I know it's cold. When I was driving over here, it was snowing. So it kind of worked out that this had to be a virtual event this year. So we hope you'll enjoy it and learn a little bit about the areas in which you live, work, play, and probably serve for some of you. In between speakers, we are going to allow for a couple pauses here and there to allow our sponsors to tell you a little bit about their business. Without them, we wouldn't have been able to bring you this event at no cost. So we are very grateful. We want to allow them a couple minutes each to share about what they do in our communities. I'd also like to thank our chamber partners. I'm going to name them as we go through. Without them, the chamber couldn't do what we do. So thank you so much for your support each year. It allows us to continue to do the events, and just in a time like this to actually stay as an organization serving all of our businesses in our community. Oasis Turf and Tree, Move to Loveland, Ellie Kowalczyk, Corvell, Spectrum Reach, Bush Richey, Loveland Lifestyle Magazine, Oasis Turf and Tree, Wolterman Law, Ohio Eagle, and new PRMG, which is a mortgage company, which is brand new to downtown Loveland. So thank you to all of them. Excuse me, Children's Meeting House as well. Thank you to all of them for, again, helping us do what we do. Lastly, we need to thank our amazing board of directors. I know many of them are tuning in, so thank you to all of you guys for your continuous support and guidance with our chamber and our services. And to all of you for tuning in today and for all of our members. I'd like to begin by bringing up Jason Pinson with 365 Wealth Management, again, to tell us a little bit about what they do, and then we'll get into our first speaker. Thanks so much. Jason?
Thank you, Cece, for the introduction. We're honored to be a sponsor of today's wonderful event, and obviously being a member ourselves and a local Loveland citizen, we're excited to be here. And I'm excited to tell you about the Chamber's most recent benefit to its members. As of January 1st, we partnered with the Chamber and Lincoln Financial to offer a Chamber-sponsored 401k plan, technically known as a Multiple Employer Aggregation Program, or a MEAP to be short. I'm going to spend my time today talking about the 3 main benefits of joining the Chamber 401k plan. And on this slide, I'm going to start with number 3, which is cost. If you have a small or mid-sized business and you never offered a 401k plan to your employees, it's most likely because the startup costs were too high. Similar to the healthcare plan offered by the Chamber, we significantly cut your costs starting a 401k plan, and typically it's about 1/3 of the normal cost to start up a 401k plan on your own. The cost savings does not only affect startup plans. If you have an existing 401k plan outside the Chamber plan and you move your plan to the Chamber plan, we're seeing on average about a 50% reduction in expenses based on the size of your company. So it is much more cost effective to go to the Chamber for a 401k plan than to set one up on your own. Second item and second benefit of joining the Chamber plan is protection. As a plan fiduciary and a plan sponsor, business owner has many fiduciary responsibilities. Through the Chamber plan, we've offloaded the majority of those responsibilities to the administrators of the plan. So you're no longer responsible for picking, monitoring investments, fund contributions, distributions, and timely contributions. So we would significantly reduce your risk of offering a 401k plan. Last but not least, we want to make it simple and easy. We know you're busy growing your business. Last thing we want to do is add a whole nother list of to-dos to your list of things to do. So in effect, the MEAP takes place, those responsibilities and is effectively your 401k department. The next slide you see in front of you, on the left is the traditional 401k plan, self-sustaining 401k plan, not through the chamber, and your daily activities ongoing to administer the 401k plan. On the right, you're going to see your administrative duties after joining the 401k plan through the chamber. So what we're doing is we're offloading many of the administrative tasks to the administrators of the MEAP and taking those off your plate. So to summarize, it's less costs, less risk, and less administration. It's a win-win for all the employees who joined the 401k plan through the chamber. It's a win for the chamber and their 401k plan. And just as I'm summarizing and finishing up, I would like to add, we started rolling this out in January 1st. We've already had 4 businesses sign up for the group 401k plan, and 3 of those are new members of the chamber just to join the chamber for this benefit. So if you have any questions or want more information on the 401k plan offered through the chamber, feel free to call me directly, email me directly, or obviously reach out to Meredith or Cece at the chamber to get some more information from us. Thank you again for your participation in today's meeting. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Cece.
Thank you so much, Jason. We've enjoyed working with you guys. It's been a lot of fun, and we certainly appreciate everything you're doing for our members. All right, next I'd like to bring up our first speaker, Kim LaPensy with Symmes Township. And Kim has been with the township now for 4 years and has 30 years experience working for local governments. She graduated from the University of Cincinnati with a bachelor's degree in urban planning and began her career working multiple counties in the planning department, reviewing subdivision plats, zoning requests, and administering grants. She has extensive experience working for cities and townships, and most recently as township administrator for 11 years. She currently serves on the board of directors for the Little Miami River Chamber Alliance. We love having her. It's been a great partnership. And with PACE. Kim has been married to her husband, Ben, for 21 years. They have 2 children, ages 17 and 13. So Kim, come on up. We'd love to hear from you and hear what's going on in Symmes Township. Thanks.
Welcome, everyone. I want to welcome everybody here and thanks for having me here to talk about Symmes Township. Symmes Township is one of our premier residential communities in the area. We have a beautiful park system. We have excellent schools. We have outstanding police and fire services. In a township, you enjoy 0 earnings tax. We are close proximity to highways. We have a thriving business community and community events to bring residents together. So in summary for us, this is just a little population stuff about us. We have 15,000 residents. We're 9 square miles with 43 miles of roadway, which we take care of subdivision streets only. We have 3 cemeteries. We enjoy 3 local school districts. And you can see we have 197 acres of park space throughout our township. We enjoy the township form of government. So what that means is we have 3 elected officials with staggering terms: Ken Bryant, Jody Lease, and Phil Beck. And we also have a fiscal officer, Joe Grossi. Right now, we have 2 that are up for re-election this year. Under the road department improvements for 2020, we had our paving program. We paved Montgomery Point to Willigers and Union Cemetery Road for 2.25 miles of roadway. Sorry about that. Curb replacement and sidewalk repairs. You can see we've replaced over 7,500 linear feet of curb, 3,000 linear feet of sidewalk, and 6,700 linear feet of sidewalk was added on Hopewell and Enyart roads. We do a variety of storm drainage replacement and repairs. And this year we actually did our first bridge replacement project on Blong Road. Under the park department improvements for 2020, we did some ball field improvements. If you've been to Home of the Brave Park, you could see that we added fencing, dugouts, lighting, irrigation, and we finished a walking trail around the ball field. We did some court improvements for tennis courts at Seven Gables and Hopewell for pickleball. We did some security upgrades at each of our parks. It's our mission to provide the security systems at each one of our parks so that people feel more safe when they're parking their cars and then partaking in our trails. We actually did some repairs to the trails at Symmes Park and Hopewell Meadows Park. This was a second year for our sunflower patch at Mead. We plan to do that in year 3. We made some improvements to restrooms where we converted all of our restroom facilities over to everything touchless. So all of our faucets, all of our toilets, hand dryers, and then we even installed new security systems on all our doors so that they automatically open and close at certain periods of times of the day to try to keep people out at night. We also made other community improvements. We had a couple Eagle Scout projects at Mead and a Girl Scout project at Mead. This is just some of the pictures from our past events. Unfortunately, we didn't have any events last year, so I'm giving you old pictures. So I apologize for that. Here's some of the community events that we offer. Every year we do an egg hunt, a Veterans Day, a cleanup day. We have Yappy Hour on the first Thursday of every month during the summer. We do yoga in the park. We have a hazardous household waste drop-off that we participate with Loveland. We do a fall for Symmes in the park. And then we also, actually do an Operation Santa event that we typically take our fire trucks out and we drive around all the township's roadways. But this year we did a little different because of COVID. So we had to do it in each one of our parks and everybody had to come to us. So, and this is just some of our other communications that we do. We do the website. We have a newsletter that we publish semi-annually. We have an e-newsletter monthly, and then we put stuff in the newspaper. We have Facebook, and then we have a homeowners association email list. Under safety services, this year we made a lot of EMS improvements. So we added a Lucas device, we added some new heart monitors, and we bought a power cut to help with our EMS runs. We installed preemption devices on Montgomery Road. We have 8 new preemption devices at locations that start at Fields Erdel and go all the way down to Cornell Road. Building maintenance, we had to replace the roof on our safety services center. And then we bought some new rescue equipment for the fire truck. On the police side, we increased our level of service. So we used to have 2 cars that ran 24/7, and then we had 2 power cars that only ran Monday through Friday. And they were, from 6 a.m. to like 12 p.m. But we actually got rid of the 2 power cars and we went to 1 12-hour car that actually works 7 days a week. And I believe that car, they move it around depending on, when the runs occur. We've also made security upgrades to their station, and we had to replace 2 police vehicles this year. This is some of our new businesses that we had in 2020. I think on the next slide. And then new ones that are coming about. They kind of happened in 2020, but with COVID, I don't think they've come along yet. But we will be getting a Chipotle right there in the old Boston Market building. And then we will be getting a Thornton's gas station at the corner of Fields Erdel and Montgomery Road. I think you guys would remember it as, I think it was the pet place, and we had a dental care facility right there. Well, they're going to tear that building down and make it a Thornton's gas station. So last year, you remember we had 2 levies on the ballot, one for our road levy and then one for our safety services. And I just wanted to thank all the residents and the voters out there for passing both of our levies. For park improvements for 2021, we would like to make renovations to the Mead House. We will be seeking bids to renovate the Mead House to bring it into compliance structurally as an event center. We hope to allow people to rent the building and use it for multiple events. We will also I can't talk today. We're going to be replacing playground structures at Seven Gables and probably making improvements to the trail around Seven Gables. We hope to relocate the volleyball courts that we took out of Symmes Park. Maybe we'll move them to Home of the Brave Park. We're still talking about that. We're still going to be making safety upgrades. We're going to put cameras in at Home of the Brave Park in 2 different locations. And eventually we'll get to Camp Dennison as well and Seven Gables. We would like to do a natural walking path. We have a piece of property it's at the corner of Montgomery and Blong that we would like to at least leave it as a nature preserve and maybe put like a natural walking path through it. And we would like to do a new restroom facility at Royal Fields, which is on Union Cemetery, that kind of backs up to Home of the Brave. Under the road improvements part for 2021, our paving program this year will be Calumet Farms and Kemper Woods. We're hoping to get Kemper Road on the schedule from Montgomery Road to Snyder, but that's a county roadway, so we're continuing to work with the Hamilton County engineer about making those improvements to Kemper Road. We were going to be starting sidewalks this year on the north side of Union Cemetery from Meade Historic Preserve down to Antietam. And then we're going to start phase 2 of our engineering project for that. We're going to start from where we left off at Shenandoah, and we're going to go the other direction down to Montgomery Road. We're really not sure if it's going to go on the north side or the south side yet. Obviously, it'd be better for us if it was on the south side because we obviously own all the property on that side. But we'll have to see during engineering to see how that goes. We're still working on trying to get a grant to improve the water line down on Lincoln Road, which will create a loop for the water system and then hopefully repave Lincoln Road at the same time. We're going to submit an OPWC grant for that. And then we also submitted an OPWC grant to install collector lines through Montgomery Trace. And then we will be improving the whole subdivision of Montgomery Trace come 2022. Other improvements, last year we undertook the upgrading our land use plan map, which we finished in November. We also made changes to our zoning resolution, which we finished in December of last year. This year, we hope to tackle our personnel manual. We would like to come up with a beautification plan for Montgomery Road with all the medians. And then we have a piece of property called Blong Park, which is right at the corner of Kemper and Montgomery. And we hope to develop that into a nicer, identification for Symmes Township when you enter it. We're going to continue to expand our recycling efforts in the community. And then we've also gotten a request to look into become Tree City USA. So that's it for me. Thanks.
Excellent, Kim. Thank you so much. Always great to hear what's happening in Symmes Township. And I heard a lot of information I'm excited about, but I heard one word that I'm really excited about, and that was Chipotle. So at least I know my kids will be too. So that's really great. And welcome to all the new businesses that have come into Symmes Township. Next, we want to take one of those pauses I talked about, and we want to tell you a little bit about Abode Advantage. It's a beautiful new facility just right outside of the city of Loveland in Mainville. They have 24/7 care, as you can see, and we've had an opportunity to do a couple of events there, their grand opening, some tours. The staff is extremely friendly. The property is gorgeous. I would be honored to have my parents there. I'd love to go myself and hang out there. So it's very nice. I believe one of the owners and leaders, Tom Ruberg, is with us. Tom, did you have anything you wanted to add? Meredith's going to unmute you.
Thanks, CC. I really appreciate it. And when you're ready to move in, you just come on up here and we'll take good care of you.
Sounds good.
I do want to just add, we've only completed one of the buildings that we intend to have on our campus here. We intend to have four 10-bedroom facilities on our campus here. And again, we call it an alternative to traditional senior living because our goal is to provide you with a home, not just a room. We really want to bring people to our facility and help them thrive and grow within our community and grow as a family at our facility. We are licensed as an assisted living facility, but we primarily did that so we could keep a continuum of care and keep our families together within our homes. So we really look forward to serving the community in this capacity, and we hope there's an opportunity that we can help, whether it be your parents, your friends, whatever the case may be, to bring them here and live in a home where there's true community. And I do want to thank you for the opportunity to be here with the Chamber. And I look forward to a long, thriving relationship with you also.
Thank you. I know Tom and his staff are open to anyone that wants to tour, and they have cookies, like hot chocolate chip cookies all the time. So really I encourage you to stop by and check it out. It's off 48 over there. Thanks, Tom. All right, next we have our next speaker, which is Jeff Wright. Always delightful and always fun to have Jeff here. And he has been with Miami Township for 15 years. And he is the township administrator. I got to put my readers on. Since 2015, not for 15 years, sorry. He and his wife and two sons they've lived in Miami Township for 15 years. Jeff also serves as the chairman of the Clearmont County Transportation Improvement District, serves on the Milford School Business Advisory Council, volunteers at the Board of Directors for the Valley View Foundation, and serves on the Ohio Plan Management Board. And thank you again for your time, Jeff. And I'd like to go ahead and bring you up now and hear a little bit more about what's going on in Miami Township. Thank you.
Thank you, Cece. I really appreciate that introduction. I want to thank Meredith and Cece for doing a great job every year of putting this event on. It's a privilege and a pleasure for me to get to meet everybody this morning, tell you quite a bit about Miami Township. Thanks to both of the sponsors and the board of directors of the chamber for being so supportive. I want to start off by introducing you visually to our 4 elected officials. Kim did a great job of explaining the township structure of government. The 4 elected officials that we have are Mary Wolf, this year's chairperson. Our vice chairperson is Carl Schultz, trustee member Ken Tracy, and our fiscal officer, Mr. Eric Ferry. We've benefited for many years of having this continuity of government with all 4 of them in place. A little bit about some stats on the township. We are the 13th largest township in the state of Ohio by population, and with our 157 road miles, we are somewhere in the top 10 of road miles that we have to take care of. On that map, you're able to see the 5 large parks that we have in our park system. You see that we have still a very sustainable rate of growth. It's not a runaway, rampant percentage of growth, but it's very sustainable and manageable. Because we are now at 44,000 residents, I want to take a second to show my appreciation for all of my coworkers at the township. We all know what the past 12 months have been like to us as a country and a community, but I could not be more proud of all of the women and men that work at the township. We have about 130 full-time and approximately 70 part-time or seasonal employees, and every department has done a magnificent job this past year, redirecting, taking new challenges that have come up every week, modifying their work schedule or their hours worked, responding to new resident requests that we've quite honestly never experienced in our history before. But we've been able to still provide the high level of service that our residents expect. And again, I'm just very proud of all of the coworkers that I have. I would like to talk to you about the economic benchmarking that we use to evaluate ourselves, how the stock that our shareholders as property owners have in Miami Township. We again are about 30% higher than the Clearmont County median household income. And when it comes to our home values, we are approximately 40% higher than the median. Thanks. Moving on to some of the, taking a look at the zoning permits issued. There's a lot of info on the slide. I'm going to point out some of the highlights to you. And also mention that the 3 gentlemen, and we only have 3 people that work in our community development department, were incredibly busy last year, and they're off to a very busy start the first quarter of this year. That's Brian, Jeff, and Nick. Those 3 gentlemen do a wonderful job keeping up with all of the demands that we have from the building community. If you take a look at the far right column, of course, is taking a look at the year-end 2020 numbers. I'm going to do a comparison of 2020 to 2019. You're going to see that the total investment value increased from about 67 million to over $102 million of total residential and commercial new investment in the community. Take a look at the single family home starts. That's the 3rd line at the top of the table there. We had 120 new single family homes permitted in 2019, which had been the most since pre-recession, which would have been, prior to 2009. We had anticipated seeing a similar number. We thought we'd have around 120 some again, but you see that we actually more than doubled that. That is the most home starts we've had in probably 15 years in the township. And not only does that speak to how well the local economy is doing, we're happy that we can contrast the current times to the Great Recession, even though we know personally and socially, a lot of our residents have been impacted negatively, and we have a lot of empathy for that situation because of we see still the historic low interest rates. We see a lot of demand for the school districts that are within our community and all of the services that we provide. The 229 homes is really incredible. If you think about that, that's for figures that would have included at least 9 months of the pandemic. And what is really interesting to look at, and it buoys us, is not only do we have the strong number in single family home starts, we're seeing for the first time more diversity of housing stock, one, be demanded, and two, be invested in the township. Redwood Communities just completed its second upscale apartment subdivision within the township. The newest one's off of State Route 131, and that is now open to new residents. Those are ranch style apartments with inline 2-car garage per unit. So that's not a product that you typically see out here in the suburbs. In addition to that, we also will see probably the second quarter of this year, Fisher Homes will be breaking ground on a 285 unit condominium community. For the last 15, 20 years throughout Cincinnati, all the developers we spoke with would say that for a long time, the condo demand was stagnant. You saw that demand in other states, but not here in Southwest Ohio. But really for the first time in probably 15 years, that is changing. We think it's due to a lot of factors. Obviously, we see more empty nesters wanting to do downsize and more millennials who want to have home ownership and be attracted to the highly desirable subdivisions. But the millennials, they simply don't find joy in yard work. So the 285 condos is going to bring online a brand new type of housing choice that we currently don't have out here. I have pictures of some of the entries there at some of the subdivisions. And in addition, we have in this part of our community, closest to the Loveland schools, we also have Celestial Estates. The final phase of Miami Trails. Miami Trails has been under development for over 20 years. But on our northern border with the city of Loveland, we do finally have that final phase. And as I noted there, we have a wide range in our housing market. New homes here start at about $350,000 and go all the way up to $800,000 in 2 of our neighborhoods. Thank you. I'm just going to show you a few of the ribbon cuttings and celebrations that we're able to have in 2020. This one, of course, you're looking at is the new Wings and Rings restaurant. That's located at our gateway of State Route 28 and I-275. What's really cool is that we have a prototype restaurant. That new restaurant is the first of its kind for that chain. And you may know that we also are home to the international headquarters of Wings and Rings. Their office is located on Ward's Corner Road, just off of I-275. Couple newer businesses we saw in the last 12 months I want to highlight. Coincidentally, these are both located on the Ward's Corner corridor also. The first one there on your left is Satco. Satco is a company that's been around since the 1940s and it's headquartered in Los Angeles. And they bought a building at the end of 2019 and they've just begun their hiring practice. They're probably going to have closer to 80 to 100 employees over the next few years when they ramp up the hiring. They hire engineers of various trades as well as technicians. Satco does research and development and production of various types of cargo used to hold large cargo in the air traffic trade. We're the 4th location they have within the United States, and our location is going to be R&D for mostly metal containers. We just approved zoning last week for a new $1 million controlled burn facility. That's going to be a new building built at their location on Ward's Corner Road. And what's really interesting is the R&D going on there will be to design the most safe containment of lithium and ion batteries. So the next time in a few years when you're on a transatlantic flight or most long air travel and everybody on the plane nowadays seems to have their laptop or their some other type of device, they will have components that will safely store these batteries that we all carry on the plane for a very long time. It's really interesting, the investment that they're making right there. And Vasquez Construction that I show you on your right, they just moved to the township about 2 months ago. This is a company headquartered in Kansas City, Missouri, and they are a minority-owned business. We worked with Jobs Ohio and Ready Cincinnati to help them get a grant to help outfitting the office space they're in, as well as their hiring. They're going to be ramping up this year to 25 new employees, and they primarily involved in the federal construction trade. They get a lot of U.S. projects at different federal buildings and installations around the country. Really large project that just has started is TriPac. we're very happy to announce that TriPac purchased at the end of 2020 a vacant 65,000 square foot building on at the intersection of US 50 and Sugar Camp Road in Miami Township. They currently are located in an adjacent city to the township. They've outgrown their current location and they're moving over 80 jobs this year. And we expect a couple dozen more to come in line in about 2 to 3 years after that. And they are in a growth mode because they primarily, they research and develop and fabricate machines that do shrink wrap. Obviously, the food and beverage industry is at an all-time high right now with consumer choices. And so they have only hit the tip of the iceberg. And so you're going to see them be done with the outfitting that building in about 3 months. And then a lot of moving will occur. Another project that we're excited is going to open up mid-March. I probably spoke about this project a year ago, and then COVID did slow down the construction of this. This is a brand new restaurant, a full-service restaurant that'll be open 7 days a week in the Miamiville area of Miami Township. It's at the intersection of 126 and Wards Corner Road, and it is directly on the bike trail, which was very specific to them. They're going to cater to the families that utilize the Little Miami Bike Trail. They hope to open at or shortly after St. Patrick's Day. It's a beautiful building and a really good investment for us in Miamiville. I want to shift now away from our economic development efforts to the completed projects we had last year. Just a few of our replacement or new infrastructure would be first two here, obviously, are park related. At 2 of our 5 parks, we did complete the pedestrian bridge, which was a safety enhancement at Community Park. We also completed about a $180,000 replacement of all of the playground structure at Riverview Park. And we did successfully get a $20,000 grant from Claremont County Park District for that. Shifting now to some other type of infrastructure. The Kelly Nature Preserve on State Route 126, well, it's actually a Claremont County Park District park. Very proud that our fire and EMS led a project to put in a rescue boat ramp that will benefit all of the communities up and down the Little Miami River. We put in about 20% of the cost. The County Park District matched that. And then we successfully received a Ohio Capital Improvement Project that paid for the balance of it. And not only will that be used for emergency rescue on the river, it's nice we've added a new group of really positive element to that park, because now any residents throughout the area can use that ramp to launch their canoes and kayak. The other item on this slide is the Hoffman Road widening, stormwater improvements. We finished last July widening this road. It was a 16 feet wide road. We made it the typical 24-foot width, and we made a lot of stormwater improvements in that neighborhood. Some of the other successes we had, I want to thank John Musselman, our service director. I had John incredibly busy last year, and his reward for hard work is there's going to be more hard work in 2021. These projects are very similar, although they're 2 different locations within the township. Miami Township is a beautiful area because we have a lot of topography change and a lot of beautiful meandering creeks. But that is a headache for a service director and his administrator, because that means we have a lot of streets that some of them actually go back to the 1800s, and they were naturally built as paths that were next to those beautiful meandering creeks. But those creeks, ebb and flow and have surge of water during rain events. And so these are 2 different of the stabilization projects that John and I completed last year. We do go after OPWC projects for 49% of the funding typically, and we have been really successful. And I really appreciate all of the work that John puts into the grant writing with me, and then successfully completing those on time and budget. Staying with the theme of what are we doing about our roadway infrastructure, we're really pleased that our 2021 budget is going to be a new record for us. Last year was the most money we were ever able to spend on our annual street repaving, and this year we're going to be in at almost $2.3 million. This is going to allow us to repave 15 miles this year, as well as over a mile of new concrete curb and gutter. We used to be doing about 4 miles a year. So to give you that context, we're now doing almost 4 times the number of street repaving that we had done historically. A few of the other projects, Sugar Camp Road stabilization, that's very similar to the 2 of the projects I showed you we completed last year. We again have a roadway that is threatened by an adjacent creek. We were successful in getting half of that project funded. Separate from the street repaving program I spoke about, we're going to be spending about $100,000 on the lower part of Dry Run Road, just north of US 50. We do have a project we've already bid out and we've awarded. And as soon as school is out this summer, we're going to be having a new sidewalk put on Mount Zion Road. That's going to connect two of our neighborhoods, Whitmer Meadows, Whitmer Estates, to the Meadowview Elementary School. And Buckley Road project will be next to St. Elizabeth and Seton. We have some major park improvements we're able to complete this year. One will be improving the use and function of two of our largest parking lots, Paxton Ramsey Park and Riverview Park. Will both be repaved, as well as repaving the asphalt walking trails that go through the woods at both of those parks. Probably the most significant in terms of visibility park-wise will be that we are spending about $140,000 to rehab Lemming House at Community Park. As most of you know, for about 20 years since we have owned that structure, we did make an addition and improvements to that. And that is a very popular event center that gets rented out 5 or 6 days a week by our residents, really year round, for celebrations, meetings, and other events. Part of the building goes back to the 1850s. So we are going to be making some very expensive but necessary structural improvements to keep the integrity of that building going for many generations. And then we have our large variety of various stormwater and other roadway improvements. Finally, I'm always very proud of how well all of my departments do at engaging our community. We have really strong ties to all of the school districts and community groups throughout the community. We don't take those partnerships for granted ever, and we know that they're part of the reason we can be successful. I usually show you slides of different ways that we've engaged our local schools. And the one I wanted to highlight this year is the Fire and EMS Student Internship Program. We began this 2 years ago with Milford High School, and our Fire and EMS department actually won a statewide award for community outreach with that mentoring program. And I'm really pleased that we worked with the school administrators and some high school staff at Loveland High School. And so last year we duplicated that, and we now have that program with Loveland High School. I encourage any of you business owners to get involved. Andrea Connor was one of the contacts with the schools that we use. It's really rewarding for us to bring in about 5 or 6 Loveland students each week. Of course, we began that pre-COVID, and then we were slammed with some pulling back of that. But as soon as we're able to, we're going to ramp that up. And it's really rewarding to provide some opportunities for those Loveland High School students to get a shadow one of our departments, and we hope to spark an interest in them in public service and maybe in the fire industry or one of the other departments that we have. But we've been really impressed with the quality of students that we've received from Loveland High School, and it's rewarding for us. And again, I encourage everybody on this call to look into that as an opportunity for you. I'm going to wrap up with showing you some of the numerous ways that we do outreach with our residents and business owners. I invite you to reach out to me if there's anything that sparks your curiosity about Miami Township today. Please follow up. And again, thanks for your time and attention.
Thank you so much, Jeff. That was great news. I'm excited to hear the trail yard is coming along. I've heard a lot of chatter about that, and I'm glad to hear that that's back on track, and the roads have been amazing. So I live in Miami Township and cut through for work and all that good stuff. So we really appreciate all the work that you and your staff are doing. Thank you. All right, next we have the always entertaining and fun to hear from Mr. David Kennedy from the City of Loveland. He's the city manager. And a little bit about Dave. He's been the city manager there for 6 years after serving at the Village of New Richmond for over 25 years. His education includes a bachelor's degree in urban planning from Miami University and master's degree from the University of Cincinnati in community planning. He was born and raised on the west side of Cincinnati, but he saw the light and has come over here now and has been married, is married to Mary Jo for 30 years. They have 2 children, Anna and Jacob. And I'd like to welcome up Mr. David Kennedy. Thank you, Dave, for being here.
Thank you, Cece. I just want to brag a little bit. Jacob, my son, just became a Lexington, Kentucky police officer, so we're very proud of him as he's going to follow in public service. And so we're really excited for Jacob. Real quick, I just want to touch a little bit on the sort of city structure, because obviously cities are different than townships in our format. We are a chartered city, which means while we follow various Ohio regulations, we have our own set of rules that we follow with our own charter that's been around since the 60s, just recently got updated. Made a few changes on that as a little bit of the structure. The finance director, as a result of that, was put under the city manager. But this gives you a good glimpse of how the city works. One little small note, we just added a new position, added a public relations office position to sort of better make an attempt to better get our message out for what's going on in the city. And we're excited about moving forward with that position. So these are the faces of the people that I work with the most. We're, as I said, we're a city manager form of government. We have 7 council members. They elect a mayor every 2 years. Mayor Bailey is our current mayor. And we're excited about what's going on. And I never really get a chance to put that face together. So those are the people that I work with on a regular. Just like Jeff did, just sort of a little snapshot of the city. Population grows much. It's been growing slowly. The home values have been about the same. Interestingly enough, from a population standpoint, the fastest growing segment is the over 65 age group in the city. So that's one of the things we're noticing. This is an interesting chart because it sort of shows a bit of a downward trend, sort of a build out of the city, and what we're seeing from I basically look at during my period of time here with the city. If you go this back, you would have seen a massive back in the 80s and 90s when the city with residential. This is sort of a result of it. But the interesting part of this is what's getting ready to change is as we're starting to see new development, and it's a mixture. The Blossom Hill development, which was just approved on State Route 48. What I think we'll see more and more of is within walking distance of the downtown, as we're starting to develop a little bit of a ring. This will be 25 unit development done by Zicka Homes. And as I said, every one of those residents will be able to walk into the downtown district. Another development we have right now getting ready to go is the Chimney Ridge up on Butterworth. It's in the Warren County. For those that you don't know, the city of Loveland's a little unique in that we are located in 3 counties, Warren, Claremont, and Hamilton. This is the 5th residential development in Warren County, the 3rd on Butterworth Road. This will be the site of the 2022 Homerama. Interestingly enough, the city actually sold. We were owners of a portion of this vacant property. This is actually 2 parcels. So that'll be a big event in 2022 for the city. We look forward to working with the chamber, and we see it as a big boost for our downtown. A little bit about our services. Our police department, led by Chief Ray. They one of the things we're noticing right now is that we're going through a bit of a retirement, so we're seeing a lot of new faces coming into the city. In our department, we've hired quite a few officers over the last few years. We're really fortunate to have Chief Ray. He helped us get together with 3 SROs that we put in over the last 2 years, including one at St. Columban, which is one of the few that's located in a parochial school. And those programs have really been real good for the school districts, and we're excited. And it sort of helped those improve those and build on those relationships. Our fire department, led by Chief Huber, Kim and I get to share the Loveland Symmes Fire Department. It's top quality service. They just recently were awarded a Class 1 rating, an ISO rating, and I know that might not sound, but it means a lot. It means a lot to our businesses. It means a lot to our residents, because your insurance ratings is primarily based upon that rating. And when you have the highest rating there is, Class 1, it's hard to beat. We're currently working, Chief Huber and I, and a committee that was formed, we're working on putting together a new downtown fire station that we will be building in the area. So we'll have the station on Lebanon Road, which just recently, you can go all these. I'm sorry, I don't know why I did those blended. We just made a significant investment into the safety center, and our safety center up on Lebanon Road is sort of clearly divided into 2 sections, of police and the fire. And you saw the upgrades that we've made in both the police and the fire side. This is a significant for the city. It was a little over $1 million that we invested into this building. And one step, we're even taking that a step farther, and that we are getting ready. We acquired the land next to us, and we've removed that structure, and we'll be expanding parking, also access out. One of the items here that we have at the safety center is all roads from emergency vehicles, police and fire come and go one way. And we also we are significantly in need of additional public parking. So we acquired this property, we removed the structure, and this year we'll be working towards expanding parking and access. So it'll ease that access into the property. Another thing that we don't talk about that much and is one of our biggest infrastructure investments by far is our water system. At any given moment, we have a storage of 5 million gallons and 76 miles of water lines under the ground. And we know it. And one of the things you learn about the water system, I've been doing this because we had one of these in Richmond, obviously, was the significant expense it takes. We also, for our safety, we have 2 connections, one emergency connection with Claremont County and emergency connection with City of Cincinnati. We are very proud of the fact that we keep our rates. We are one of the lowest rates that you're going to see around here. And that's important. It's important to it, but it's also, even with a recent increase that we did, we're still one of the lower water rates in the area. One of the big things, and Jeff talked on it too, is a significant commitment to our roadways. I think this chart is really telling. Again, I just base things on my time there. If you look at 2014, our commitment to our roadway was $244,000, and in 2021, we're up $800,000 with a commitment of over $1 million. And actually, we used a company called Stantec, which Jeff hooked us up with. And it ended up, it looks a little bit like Ghostbusters as they work their way around their streets and give you this incredible view of the integrity of your roadway. And I think it was extremely telling to our our city officials, our council, our elected officials, what I meant to say, on just where we're going. Our city engineer, we're very fortunate to have a city engineer on staff, made it very clear a city of our size with well over 100 miles of lane miles of roadway should be investing $750,000 a year. So we've got a lot of catching up to do, but being able to use that Stantec and was very, very beneficial to the city. It was an investment, but it was so telling on, it basically reinforced what our city engineer's been preaching for some time. So pretty excited about that. Another big project we have coming up this year is our public works building. It's actually not too far from where we're at. This is a big investment in our public works compound, our campus, or whatever you want to call it. Not only will the building add some much needed office space, removing an existing building, it will allow the city a significant addition of significant amount of bays, extra bays. We get more and more equipment inside. Everyone knows, Kim, Jeff, and I, that you know, equipment's just like anything else you have at your house, keeping it inside. So this is a big project we've got coming, which will commence this year. Park system, something we're awful proud of what we've done in the city over the last number of years. We've really invested in our parks, and we've been able to do a lot of this through grant funding and through NatureWorks and Claremont County and various programs. A couple of years back, we got a capital budget funding to do some improvements, and it's important. I don't think that our past conditions of our parks, it just didn't set a very good example, in my opinion, of what a residents of a city like Loveland should have. So we're really excited about what we're doing. We've been doing a pretty significant park improvement project every year. So this week, as we continue, one of the other things we do is we're also pretty proud of is our budgeting. Pretty boring stuff, I think, in a way, but the city for the 7th year in a row got a Distinguished Budget Award presentation. And it's pretty unique because it's just a long line of finance directors that have put in this, including Kelly Flanagan, who currently works for Jeff, Michelle Burdett, who worked for the city, who just recently retired, who I've never seen somebody work as hard as she did. And we just hired a new director of finance, Mark Medler. So this is a big deal. We take this serious, and we received this award for 7 straight years, Distinguished Budget Presentation Award. We actually start our budget in July and work pretty steadily through right up into November when we make our presentation. Downtown Loveland. I know that I probably talk about this every year, and but one of the things I really like, the unique part about being in the city manager of Loveland, is I'm downtown every day. City Hall is right smack in the middle of it all, so I get to see this. I get to see it firsthand. And the one thing that I've noticed the most of is that campus feel. We have a very walkable area, and with more and more people that are moving downtown. Loveland Station, which former city manager Tom Carroll really put together, is a program that really initiated that downtown living. And it's very common to see residents coming and going from Loveland Station, the Brownstones development. And as I said before, we're starting to see this ring around the city as more and more people want to have access into the downtown district, and existing residential areas that were just over the bridge and so on and so forth. We're seeing a lot of revitalization, and as they're becoming very popular places to live, because you can simply walk into downtown. I can't mention enough how important the bike trail is to the city. It is just the gift of all gifts for any community. With COVID, we saw more and more people, more and more staycations coming and going, and I was extremely we're very lucky to have that. I always like this picture. It really shows the connection of the bike trail to that's Ramsey's. Another item that we developed in what mayor and council changed is our DORA, which is our designated outdoor refreshment area, which is basically our open container law. City council acted quickly when COVID came into place to change that from an event only door. It was only in effect during various events, to being 7 days a week from noon to 11. That was I would like to think that if you asked any downtown restaurant or bar in our downtown district, they would tell you that helped considerably with what dealing with the COVID restrictions. The city opened up, put tables all over the place. We had picnic tables in front of City Hall, so you could get a takeout and you could do this. So the DORA, which will now stay 7 days a week, was a big part of the city. So we're very proud of that. I just realized that this May will mark the fourth year since those fires. There's certain things I'll always remember in my 36 years of government. And I will never forget dealing with a flood in Richmond, but I'll also never forget getting a call from our comm center at 3 a.m. while I was in Norris Lake, and hopping in a car to come back here and coming over the bridge and seeing this view. And to know that it would turn into what it is simply an incredible feeling. I remember looking at the pictures of the drawings of what each of those owners envisioned these restaurants would look like, and going, And every morning, because I come in pretty early, this is what I see when I come in, and it's something, and it's a commitment that the city made, I think, but more so than any. That was over $6 million of private investment in redoing each of those buildings into simply the showcase that they've become. And it also showed the real heart of the city, getting to see how people came out. I know the chamber was a big part of that, and it's something I'm always going to remember long after my retirement, and really excited to see what those have become. Current development that we have downtown is talk about what my dad's favorite saying: you can't make a silk purse. Developers of the Landing Event Center on Carl Brown has taken basically an old style furniture store and has turned it into just quite a showplace, to additional restaurants and an event center. The Landing was along Carl Brown near Cappy's. The developers reconfigured the parking, traffic, the city in turn widened Carl Brown for better access. Very, very neat project. I had a hard time picturing this, but once again, it's just turning out exactly the way we envisioned. And we're really fortunate for the owner of this development, Kevin Maloff, and his partners putting this all together. And really excited about seeing that development in an area that was a little tired. So it's a nice addition to the downtown district. So I guess I'd be going without saying, goes without saying that one of the bigger projects that we're currently working on is the development of our downtown parking facility. What I'm showing you here is what the city purchased. We purchased we did made two separate land purchases, and I think we made two separate land purchases in preparation for the development of our parking facility. What I'm showing you here is the land. The various colors depict the total amount of parking that total amount of land that we have dedicated to parking. One of the really neat parts about this, and I know that I preach this too much, is that this is more than 270 parking spaces. This is also a new access point off of State Route 48 that we'll be bringing into the city with over 100 feet of frontage along State Route 48. So, you know, for those of you who've been in downtown, sort of all roads sort of lead to Paxton's. This will allow, especially people coming in from Warren County and Claremont County, to have access right off of State Route 48. And myself and the engineers that we work with feel that this will be a very nice improvement to the traffic flow in the city. And so it is parking. It is parking first and foremost, but it's also we'll end up with we actually end up with 2.3 acres of property dedicated to it, and then there's the frontage. One of our purchases was a single family home directly adjacent to City Hall. Our plan is to have one central access point into both the parking of the parking facility and all the other parking that surrounds the city. We're still working on the exterior design. We're still working on getting our final numbers together. We hope to get this project going this year in 2021. I will say the city was awarded $900,000 for this project from the state capital budget, and we do anticipate we're the highest ranked project for the Appalachian Region Commission. Claremont County is in the Appalachian region, so we anticipate another $250,000 to go towards this project. We're excited to get going with this and get moving. And big key with this is I always say it needs to be convenient. This parking needs to be convenient, and it needs to be extremely safe. Chief Ray and I are currently looking at various apps, parking applications that we can have that people can make this just as where they would actually locate parking spaces. Will allow you to add additional time from wherever you're sitting at any time. So we're excited looking at various ways to make this not just a parking garage with an arm that comes up and down, something that really uses what is so common in today's technology. So we're excited about that project. One of the other investments that we're making into downtown, and we're about completed with this, is we are near the end of finalizing historic preservation guidelines. It may not sound like much, but I would tell you a city like Montgomery will be the first to say that their guidelines very help protect their district. So I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to protect the type of growth, the type of materials, the type of look, the type of appeal. So the city became a CLG, which is a certified local government through the Ohio Historic Preservation Office, put together a committee. We were able to get grant funding to help write our design guidelines. We're using a firm called the Gossman Group, and these will be going into, we're working on that as we speak. So this is a big step for the city to do something like this and to have a little more say over the materials, the development, and some of the different features that goes in. And this should be in place by the end of March, and we're really excited it's been a great opportunity to get and work with our Historic Preservation and Planning Commission. We're with them last night as we iron out our first public hearing. Last but not least, and always important, is what we're doing in terms of planning our future. I can't say enough how important it is sometimes to take a step back. The city has recently completed our downtown strategic plan. That was a significant project that brought out the public to a whole different level than I've ever seen before. We used a firm called Yard and Company, and it really placed in what to look like. What's the view of the city? How do things come in? How can we adjust road diet? We're also currently working on a comprehensive master plan. Monday we accept RFPs for a streetscape plan. you can't, it's time for the city to look at their sidewalks, all the different elements to come into play with streetscaping, lighting and cans, garbage, waste receptacles, the whole deal. So we're modifying our sidewalk design and getting ready to begin that. And also something we just recently realized, that Nisbet Park, which is our sort of our signature park in our downtown district, it needs it. You know, I always say that when it comes to comprehensive plans, I like to pull certain things out. Downtown plans often get lost in the shuffle, and comprehensive plans, so we did a standalone downtown plan. Another thing that is so important is that Nisbet Park has its own plan. So the city budgeted in for this current budget to bring in a firm and to do a real deep dive on what needs to be done for Nisbet Park. You have to realize that the bike trail, based on Friends of Little Miami State Park numbers, has about 110,000 visitors on a bike trail that are coming into the city of Loveland portion of it. This is one of the first things people see, and doing Nisbet right is important. So we're looking forward to that plan, and then there'll be a very implementable plan because we intend to continue the city's work on bringing in grant funding. So Cece, thank you again for the opportunity. Good to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Always exciting, always fun information delivered to us in a very fun way. And thank you all for sticking with us. I think we're just a little bit over an hour, and it's been great. I'm very excited, by the way, about Home Around 2022, guys. Make sure you look for that. I know it's in Anderson, the city of Anderson, or Anderson Township, in 2021, so very close by, but check us out in 2022. Also, I want to thank our dignitaries who have tuned in today. I hope I don't miss anybody. I saw Mary Wolf out there. I saw all the lot of staff from Miami Township. Thank you. Mayor Bailey, thank you for being a part of this. And again, Councilman Butler too. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we appreciate all your support. If you do have questions for anybody, for Kim LaPensi, Jeff Wright, Dave Kennedy, the chamber, please go ahead and put them in the chat. We'll certainly get back to you and pass those along. And all of their information too is on our website. Next up, with the Chamber of Commerce, we have some fun happening here in February, which is just next week. And we have a fun progressive dinner for you to experience love in the land of love. So experience love. It's a progressive dinner for you and friends, or you and your loved one, or you and just a friend. So check out our website for that. We have our next morning mixer. We have those each month. So the location's always put on the right hand of our website. We are doing a business expo. So we used to do one. We're glad to be bringing that back to you on the 25th of March. All that information for businesses to have a booth for you to attend is on our website. So we're so thrilled to be bringing that back. It's going to be at that the Landing Event Center. So hopefully we'll be using the outdoor part of that as well. They have it tented and heated, and so we'll have lots and lots of space to spread out. And then some other events coming up in the spring that will continue to keep you posted. Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I really want to thank Kim LaPensi, Jeff Wright, and Dave Kennedy. Their time is just, they're so busy. So we are extremely grateful for them doing this year after year. I hope it's beneficial to all of you. I know it is for me and for the chamber. So have a great day. And thanks again for being a part of today's State of the Region event. Take care.